And we're live. Hi everyone, this is Amateur Gamer, and I'll be returning to Civ 5 Vox Populi. And once again, this is another mod that I decided to add in myself because it's something that was brought up in game, and it's something I want to tackle, to figure out. And to be honest, I did like the idea. Now, some of the icons could definitely be improved because I have no artistic skills. So just maybe by the time this video comes out, there'll be someone who will offer their art capabilities and make specific ones for these. Otherwise, yeah, we're kind of stuck with the existing ones. So, the complaint about this is that the Zeppelin is in a really odd location, right? You have Explorer that could cross oceans, and then you have Zeppelin that can cross mountains, that can hover on coast, but actually embarks on interesting. I just realized something that I should probably fix. But actually, no, I think it's fine. Actually, I'll see. Anyways, so this is called the Amateur Zeppelin mod, something like that. I don't remember my names. I come up with random names. I just know it works. So the idea is now the tech tree got changed. So now explorers are promoted into the mounted scout, which, if this doesn't crash on me, the mounted scout is available in industrial era on railroads. So yeah, it's available here, and it's a quick moving unit. It starts with 4 movements. It ignores zone of control. It has more combat strength when defending, and it heals more per turn. And every turn it's in the enemy, it gets experience, extra sight. Basically the same as everything else, just have a bit more survivability. And that kind of makes sense, right? You go from explorer who travels on foot to a unit that travels on horse, so it kind of makes sense they could travel more. Base movement is 4, which is solid. This is the picture. Yeah, I'm using all the existing images in game. This is the Greek, that cavalry, I don't know what it's called. Companion cav. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. So yeah, so the idea is you go from explorer, upgrade to mounted scout, then mounted scout to paratroopers. So overall, that's pretty straightforward. I mean, Zeppelin is just very unique, so it feels very awkward, especially when you upgrade it into a paratrooper and it can't move in mountains. So yeah, that is definitely another matter. So for Zeppelin now has its own, it has its own upgrade, but that's something else we'll talk about a bit later. Actually, I do need to change it. I need to make sure that Zeppelins can ignore terrain costs so they can move faster. But yeah, we'll deal with that. Anyways, back to this. So now we have paratroopers and recon units. I know they use the same icons. So recon units are available for replaceable parts, and paratroopers are still available at flight. Recon unit have a bit more combat strength. So the idea is, at least when I was designing it, paratrooper would just do what they do, right? They could paradrop into enemy territory, and by doing so, they're able to disrupt the enemy line. They could pillage and all of that. And meanwhile, the recon unit is a unit that is really hard to take down because they have entrenchment, so they have more hit points, more defense against range attacks. They have spotters as well. They can move through ice and mountain tiles, so they are pretty versatile. there are no units that upgrade into recon units, so you have to build them from scratch. But the idea is, by having spotter and sending them into enemy territory, they should level up fairly quickly. And at this point, you should have enough military buildings to help you get enough experience to at least get some promotions. And overall, they cannot pillage. They can't capture cities and they can't pillage. So you can't. I mean, the reason why they cannot pillage is because they can enter rival territory. You don't need open borders, you can send them in. I just feel like it's really cheesy if the human player sends these guys in, get ready, and then pillage a bunch of tiles and cripple the enemy. I feel like that's kind of cheesy. So for the AI, the recon unit is basically just another frontline unit. I think they have the same, yeah, same combat strength as riflemen, just a bit more survivability, can heal more. They can't capture cities, and they're also recon units, so they have their own promotions. They definitely have their own niche. And then paratrooper just do what they do, and then paratroopers upgrade into special forces, and elite. Recon unit upgrades into elite recon units. Basically, recon units are a bit stronger. They can't pillage. For the AI, they're just another frontline unit, but for the human player, they have their own special niche of scouting ahead, just getting valuable intel from a safe distance because they do have more spawning range, which makes it really helpful for bombers and whatever. And if necessary, you could use them to attack the enemy as well. I think that's also viable because they're so tanky. The idea is maybe you use them to pick off enemy weakened units. Now neither of them could move after attacking, so you have to be careful. But these guys are a bit tankier, though they can't heal because from pillaging, since they can't pillage. So that is one issue they have, but that's something I think people will hopefully find. I feel like they have their own niches. You have your own choice. And then after this, both of them can be upgraded into XCOM. Now, what's interesting about Zeppelin? So Zeppelin is available replaceable parts. It's reasonable. Wait, is it reasonable? I mean, the idea is I don't want a Zeppelin to be like too powerful, right? Zeppelin has 2 range. It could move after attacking. And what's unique about it is I set it up so that they actually don't embark. So the idea is that this Zeppelin, when working properly, it can hover over ocean tile. Before, they can only hover over land tiles and coasts, and if they want to go into ocean, they have to embark. Now they can hover over ocean tile, which is like really solid. And they have their own upgrade, which is I actually used this Hubble Space Telescope icon, and if I remember where it is it here? Oh no, wait, did I really use that? I guess it doesn't matter. So the Zeppelin now upgrades into this UCAV, which is basically a drone. So the drone doesn't do crazy amounts of damage. I mean, you can see that 45 range combat strength compared to 65. Yeah, not that impressive. Combat, they're also not that high, so they're pretty squishy, but their biggest advantage is the fact that they have 4 range. And since now Zeppelin and their upgrade is now counted as archery unit, they have the potential of, actually I think I also added, yeah, indirect fire. So you don't need indirect fire. So now you could either go logistics to do a lot of damage or extra range, which for the drone, 5 range is ridiculous because it means that you can be at a very safe distance, contribute, and then back out, right? Because you can move after attacking. Yes, you have 3 movements, but that extra range should make it possible for you to pick off weakened enemy units. Actually, drone strike is another promotion. Did I crash the game? I hope not. But yeah, I also gave a recon some extra like new promotions to work with, and let me just look at that because either I crashed the game, which is extremely likely, or I don't know. So let's see. I would just look at the post I made on Civ Fanatics. I mean, all of my information are on Civ Fanatics because that's where I post my ideas and then discuss them. So we'll go from there. And I mean, this did make me realize that I need to change a few things. So yeah, okay. So with the UCAV, they have a drone strike promotion, which allows them to ignore zone of control, plus 20% range combat strength when attacking enemies at or less than 50% health. So the idea is they're basically there to pick off the enemy weakened units because they don't have that much range combat strength to begin with, and they could pass through mountains and coasts or ocean without embarking, just like the Zeppelin. So I think I do need to give them ignore terrain costs because otherwise it doesn't make sense. And since they are archery units, they can't get the promotions that give them like extra movement, moving through forests and that, which doesn't make sense with them. So I feel like that's the best answer. And as for the new promotion, so there are 6 new promotions. One is more offensive and one is more defensive. I know I can't show it because my game froze and yeah, I'm not in the mood of restarting it. But basically, you have the offensive one, Airhead 1, Airhead 2, and Airhead 3. So for each of so Airhead 1 plus 15% combat strength when attacking. Airhead 2 is plus 15. Airhead 3 is plus 20. So you get all of those. You get a 50% extra when attacking. Units in adjacent tiles receive plus 5 HP when healing. So the idea is they are assisting in offensive. So your nearby units will heal more, but this unit doesn't get that benefit. And then combat bonus outside friendly territory is 10, 15, 15. So you could get a total of 40. So when you're attacking enemy territory, these units can hit hard. And they can help keep the units around them survive a bit longer, because each promotion allows you to give adjacent units more healing. So you could get up to plus 15, which is better than Medic, which is Medic 1 and Medic 2, which is plus 10. Is it plus 10? Yeah, I think so. And then you have Disruption 1, 2, and 3. This one is plus 20% combat strength when defending for all of them. So you get up to 60% combat strength when defending. And this one you get plus 5 HP when healing, just your own unit. So the idea is whatever unit you're using for disruption, they're able to heal more. And then adjacent enemy units receive minus 10% combat strength for 1 and minus 15 for 2 and 3. So it'll be up to minus 40%. So yeah, disruption is meant to weaken the enemy, hold them, basically cause disruption, right? Taking up a tile so that the reinforcements can't reach you fast enough, and having massive defensive bonuses, which if you give to, say, a elite recon unit where you have DFPs, which gives you more HP and more defense against ranged, and the fact that they have more combat strength actually makes them a huge pain to deal with. Let's just put it that way. So both the paratrooper line and the recon line can pick these promotions, and I feel like they have their own niche. It was actually really fun. I haven't had time to try these because I've been busy modding things, and modding things take a long time, especially the troubleshooting, and the fact that my game just freezes up like that. Yeah, it's not fun. Anyways, that's just about it for all these changes. I'm not sure if my next video will be a mod or not, because I am modding and I have stockpiled a good number of videos, so I'm not urgently